Hi, what's up, stoners? Welcome to the local band Smokeout.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I'm Benny from Commissioner Bourbon. You're watching local band Smokeout.
And let's get started then if you're ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, as I speak!
Yeah, hell yeah!
What's up? What's up?
How are you, dude?
Good, man. Sorry about the delay. I don't usually use Teams that often, so I had to get this all logged in, and it was a little slow for a second.
So you're a Skype or Discord guy?
I usually just use Discord. But I mean, I had Teams on my computer. I just never had to use it, so I had to go like sign in through my school and everything like that.
Well, we were successful. We were able to pull it off, so no biggie. Yeah. Dude, Zach, please properly introduce yourself. Let me know where in the bouts of the world you are. Plug, promote anything, and then we'll dive into all the fun stuff.
All right. I am Zach. I am pretty much the only member of As I Speak. My producer, Ben, that I work with, I kind of call him the unofficial second member because I bring the ideas, the vocals, the lyrics, guitar, and he kind of helps me put it all together. I am from Southwest Pennsylvania, close to Pittsburgh, and I actually just dropped my cover of Bad Omens, Just Pretend on yesterday. Hell
yeah, great song selection for a cover too. How hard is it being a one-man band?
It's difficult. It's easy to kind of run into yourself sometimes. You guys did like a video reaction to Mend, shortly after it came out back in October of last year, and it was funny, that song actually came together really, really quickly. Surprisingly, it was just one of those things like catching lightning in a bottle. But I mean, that one of the benefits, I've been going to school for music production at the LA Film School online, so I've been able to kind of, pick up things like really like teaching myself how to do drum programming to kind of get demos off the ground more. So it's a little easier to kind of get ideas fleshed out because it's crazy. Like, so you could listen to like a riff or a chord progression and it sounds so boring, and then you put the drum beat underneath of it and it just completely changes the vibe. And just even switching up like a few little simple things in a drum pattern can change the vibe of that riff to something completely different. So it's really cool kind of figuring out how drums factor into everything and to kind of make this a more streamlined process.
Two-part question. I've never taken an online course, but I've went to Full Sail, which I'm guessing you maybe looked into multiple schools for stuff like that. But how hard is it to learn your craft online? And B, what DAW system and drum programming system do you use?
So it's really different because like I'm going to school for music production because I want to, obviously still like release music and everything like that, but I want to be behind the console and also make the more consistent money. My current net worth on DistroKid's like $16 right now, I think. So I'm looking for something a little more solid in the meantime. But with being online and not having access initially to like a studio, you're not getting that hands-on experience, and it definitely makes it a little bit more of a struggle. I got lucky. I actually found a studio to intern with over here, about 45 minutes away from me. So I'm able to go in and get that hands-on experience while I'm doing my online work. So I was kind of able to find a way to supplement things for myself.
Oh yeah, very cool.
And
I'm sorry. Part two.
I didn't answer the second part of your question. I just realized. I've had the most experience using Logic, Apple Logic, but I am slowly trying to integrate myself into getting used to using Pro Tools. That's what the studio uses, and it's kind of usually the industry standard, so it's definitely something. It's not as user-friendly as coming into something like Logic. You kind of have to be a little bit more precise with how you route things in Pro Tools. So it's I want to say that I feel like Apple Logic is better for music production, but if you're looking for like any kind of like mixing, mastering, things of that nature, Pro Tools is probably the route to go.
I'm actually Pro Tools certified, but that expired a long time ago because don't keep up with it. But I've always heard that Logic is the easiest to use for creating MIDI. It's like the absolute easiest MIDI program for just, like you said, creating music. And then you said what I also, it was another part in there that I don't think I heard, as far as, is there a specific like drum programming VST or something that you use?
So I actually do have a couple of Get Good drum kits, but I still have not figured out like the routing to get it to go from Contact into my DAW. So I just kind of use the stock stuff that comes in Logic just for like demo purposes. But like when I go to the studio to track and like we're really putting the song together in production, Ben will usually use like the Invasion drum kit from Get Good.
My guess is send Contact out to a bus and then load your bus in on Pro Tools or Logic from Contact.
So
Maybe?
the way that you kind of have to do it is it's not a matter of not putting Contact on like a bus or anything like that. You with Get Good, you have to manually route each piece into its own separate channel within Contact. So like you have to kind of like route the kick to like track 1, track 2,
Gotcha.
snare, and you know what I mean. So like I have to go through the tedium of getting that figured out, and I haven't done it yet. And Nolly posted up a tutorial on YouTube like 6 years ago, but like the interface is now so outdated. It kind of looks like a little weird trying to use in a modern interface, but I'm sure I'll get it eventually. I've honestly probably just been lazy because it was just easier to use the stock stuff.
For sure. Picking a band name is such an important factor in creating music. What is the project called? What do we want to tell people it's called? How did you come up with As I Speak, and what does it mean to you?
So, As I Speak kind of came up in like a really cool way. I remember reading when I was deciding to like get a new project off the ground. I was just kind of scrolling around, doom scrolling on Facebook one day, and I had seen something about how how they always have magicians say like abracadabra and stuff like that, but apparently it was kind of like a loose translation. It was on Facebook, so there was 100% reason or 100% chance it might be bullshit, but I took away from it nonetheless. Like it's supposed to be, abracadabra is supposed to directly translate to I create as I speak, and I thought that was such a cool just a cool line. I was like, wow, that's like just a really dope way to kind of look at it, especially when you put it in the context of where it's normally used. And so I didn't want myself to be completely bound by genre. When I decided to do this, I kind of wanted to give myself the freedom to be able to do whatever I wanted and not worry about pigeonholing myself necessarily. So, like a couple of ideas that I've got bouncing around right now actually have like a slight like pop punk vibe to them instrumentally,
Okay.
and they're vastly different from Mend. And so I kind of wanted that to be, I create as I speak. I kind of do this my own route and kind of just take things my way. But I create as I speak was too long.
For sure. I mean, I like the title As I Speak, but I do like the story behind what you just said. But you said you did bring the hot sauce.
I did, and my friend David makes his own hot sauces at home. He's like a hot sauce connoisseur. He's got like 30 in his fridge, but he made his own, and it's called Death of a Strawberry, and I have it here in this mason jar.
I remember we were talking about that, Death of a Strawberry. Okay, and it is obviously heavily strawberry based.
Yeah.
But then also ghost peppers and scorpion and all kinds of other nasty stuff in there to.
It's not too bad in terms of heat. It's got like a really nice flavor to it. It has been sitting in a sealed mason jar in my fridge for probably about a year. So, but it's still probably good.
I'll do the homemade one that I got. But I know you've had a day or two to think about it. What movie or TV show have you selected?
Well, I've actually been watching a lot of Yellowstone recently. My girlfriend Alex got me into it. We're now into the second season of it. So,
Yellowstone, which I know a lot of people that watch it. I personally watched season 1, and I think I kind of faded out. And then I had heard that Costner wasn't coming back, but I think he is. and then there was a rumor of McConaughey doing like the prequel. But it's definitely super popular. Let me look up some Yellowstone trivia, which is coming up with national parks all over the place. But I'll figure something out. But when can we expect the next single, and what can you tell us about it?
So, right now, as far as the next single goes, I'm still kind of in the beginning stages of pre-production for it. I was kind of sitting around one day on my computer, and I was like, I really need to kind of work on my drum programming and everything. So I was starting to challenge myself to write like one beat a week, just to get comfortable with doing the programming itself. And I have like I really love lo-fi stuff. I love chill step and things like that. So a lot of the beats that I work on take on that kind of identity. So I started with that one day, and then I decided just to kind of slowly transition it more into like a rock vibe. And so like I took real drums, well, not real drums, but programmed acoustic real drums, and kind of transitioned it into like a guitar track. So it's still a little up in the air on where it's going to be going specifically, but I do know like the stuff that I send over to Ben, he did get a hold of me yesterday and said that he was, he finally had some time to sit down and start helping me flesh this out. So we're going to see where it goes from there. Ideally, I'd like to have something out.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I wanted to ask about
okay.
that.
No, it's okay. I totally talk a lot. You can tell me to shut up.
I would never.
Ideally, next 3 months.
Okay, cool. It's not too far. How did you meet Ben?
So he actually had a podcast with another producer. I actually met him in passing in 2019 at a show. He was in another band at the time, and we just kind of met in passing, and nothing had really come of it. But he did have a podcast with another producer, and I remember listening one day to it and like finding out that he was local, because like I said, we'd met in passing. It totally just escaped me that he was around here, and he had actually done a pop song with another artist and had like done like a bunch of the programming. And this was shortly after I originally released Still Breathing. Like what's up on Spotify and things like that right now is actually the refined version that he helped me put out, because I had the drums redone for it, the strings were added to it, but like he had done that pop song and done like the programming of the instrumentals, and I loved what he had done. So I had reached out to him to kind of help me refine Still Breathing, and then shortly after that I decided to do my cover of Halsey's Colors. And so he's pretty much just been who I've worked with ever since, and that started in early 2022.
It's the most important question I've asked you this entire interview. This is a serious one.
Okay.
In Yellowstone, what branch of military does Case serve? Case Dutton. What branch of military did she serve?
He was in the Navy.
That is correct.
Give me a hell yeah.
U.S. Navy. Spin the wheel.
He was a SEAL.
You're right. He was a Navy SEAL. Not much is mentioned in the early seasons, but Case was in Pakistan, returned fire on a target and killed him. His wife's name is Monica, and they have a son named Tate, and he served Navy SEAL. And I gotta do some whiskey. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do the strawberry hot sauce. And I'll look up a harder one, but I had already gotten to some. What's up?
I'm probably gonna take a little bit of this just to make sure it's still good.
Yeah, just make sure it hasn't spoiled or soured or anything. Let me get the whiskey ready. Describe to me.
It's still good.
It's still good. Describe to me what. Like, do they give you homework for the? You said it's LA Film School, but for music production.
Yeah, they do. They give homework. A lot of it is based around creation, just music creation, because like I said, my focus of the program is music production itself. So they'll be like, okay, you need to make us a 16 bar progression. It needs to have these elements in it.
Also, they're very specific on like how the arrangement must go.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone else who's watching right now has been through any of their programs. I will say, teachers are really, really cool. They're very helpful. They're very knowledgeable and resourceful. Um, but in terms of how things are approached in that school, especially when you don't have the luxury of, the hands-on instruction and stuff of that nature, like some of it almost feels like they expect you to have a little bit of knowledge before going in, like with drum programming. Like I would have thought we would have spent like a week or two kind of doing more than just glossing over subdivisions and things like that. So they were just kind of like, okay, we'll program a drum beat, and they were just like, and go. And I was just like, I've never done this before. Like, so it was a bit of a struggle at first. It just, with it being online, it's fast paced, it's an accelerated program. You just don't have the luxury of having more time like other people doing other programs and things.
For sure. I am going to look up more trivia, but I want to ask you a couple more questions before we do some fun ones. But
Sure.
what is your favorite local? This is just a random one. Favorite local restaurant, and what are you ordering?
Local restaurant. Oh man, you know what? If you hadn't asked me, I probably would have been able to tell somebody.
How about this? Maybe not plug somebody in the area, but if you could have a pick of any food item, and what are you making? Who's making this for you? What is it? Your favorite food?
So my day job, I'm actually a cook.
Hell yeah.
I'm actually a saute cook, and I work like a grill and things like that. So I'm really good at making steaks. I love steak. My favorite cut is a ribeye. So ribeye, medium rare, put some compound butter on it with some like fresh green beans and sweet potato. I love sweet potato.
Damn, son.
Yeah, we need to hang out, dude. That sounds.
I know, right?
That sounds fun. That sounds fun right there. Hell yeah. I still haven't had a chance to look at the trivia because you had me salivating when you're describing your chef skills. So, are you a cannabis user?
I am. I'm more on the lighter end of things. If I smoke too much, I actually kind of green out, get kind of panicky. So I don't. I'm not super heavy with it, but I do smoke pretty regularly.
So more indica, sativa, or a little light blend of both?
Light blend of both, typically.
Okay, well, I'm going to try and stump you one more time on this Yellowstone, and if I can't, then you were very much prepared for today. Let's see. Yellowstone Trivia Part 2. Very early in the show, we learn that John Dutton's wife has passed. It's only mentioned once or twice, but how did she pass?
Her, either it was Beth's horse or her horse that ended up falling on her, and it crushed her.
That is correct.
Give me a hell yeah.
Damn it! All right, well, I'm gonna go in on some serious thoughts on it. This one's brutal. I just put a little bit of my finger. It's very brutal.
Ooh.
And I have to add the wasabi because I'm behind on wasabi.
Uh-oh.
Tell me about something. Hold on, I'm suffering. Tell me something about you that we don't know that we should know.
Well, my kid's mom, Ashley, is in the chat right now. I am a father to twins.
Howdy.
And my girlfriend, Alex, has a little boy as well. So we are a nice blended family.
How did you meet your lady?
Actually, in the music scene around here, she, at the time, was with a musician, another band. Things fell apart, and then we got together a little while after.
So she does music too?
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
No, she does art though. She loves to draw. She does great art.
Hell yeah. What's the best video game of all time in your opinion?
Ooh. Man. So I really love story-based games. I'm a huge fan of them. One of my favorite series of all times, and it's been kind of notched out a little bit over recent years. Metal Gear Solid was one of my favorite video game storylines, but Alex actually introduced me to Mass Effect, and I fell in love with that storyline as well. So it's kind of a toss-up between Metal Gear Solid and Mass Effect.
Of all the songs in your catalog, which one was the hardest to write? And separately, if you can't answer men, because I think you're going to say men, but if you can't answer men, which one are you most proud of?
In terms of like difficulty of putting it together, or are you talking about like in terms of lyrical content and things of that nature?
I guess all of the above.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say up to this point, Mend is probably the one that was, I mean, musically it came together the easiest, but lyrically it was one of the ones that kind of hit me the deepest. So second to that would be Still Breathing, I would say.
Who, if you could work with, like, let's say Ben is just like, bro, something's come up, I'm unavailable for 6 months. You gotta find a new producer, but all of a sudden, a giant budget falls on your lap. Doesn't matter what that dollar amount is. Obviously, you want to spend it on family and stuff like that, but there's some left over, and we gotta get a new producer. You can pick anyone. Who would you want to work with?
I would say I would want to work with Eric Ron. Eric Ron, dope producer.
I'm not sure I know Eric Ron.
So he has done a lot of killer work. He did, I don't know if he did this most recent Godsmack album, but he did the one prior that had Bulletproof on it. He's done a lot of work with I Prevail, Fire from the Gods. So like the stuff that he does, and it's quality. It's good stuff. He just did Stain's new album that'll be coming out next month. So I'm really excited to hear what all they did together.
So I think it's time we should go ahead and throw this Just Pretend in. Is there anything you want to plug before we jam it?
I guess I would just say big shout out to Caleb and Deja from Solunar Records. You know, it's because of them I've been able to do this. I'm really, really happy about it. As far as Just Pretend is concerned, it is going to be on their overnight soundtrack side B. They're releasing this movie called Overnight, and I believe they are doing it in 2 parts. So this will be on the second soundtrack because they'd asked me to cover it to put on that album. So that's the story behind that.
We're good buddies with Caleb, but I do want to ask, have you seen the movie, or are you invited to the screening if there is one?
I am invited. What they're trying to do is to get their artists to come down for the screening and actually perform at the screening. And so that's something that they're still working the details out on.
Hell yeah, very cool. Let's switch over for a second, jam a little bit of this Just Pretend. We're hanging out with As I Speak. If you guys are feeling it, please show them some love. Jump on Spotify, hit the follow button, support them. And of course, you're automatically on the poll. And I guess we should go with this one, the brand new one.
I'm not okay, but I can try my best to just pretend. So will you wait me out, or will you drown me out?
We'll do a couple more fun ones after this. You've definitely seen Yellowstone a couple of times, I can tell. Or you thoroughly did not take a restroom break during season 1.
Pain that you hide behind the smile on your face, and not a day goes by where I don't think I feel the same. So will you wait me out, or will you drown me out? So will you wait me out, or will you drown me out? I can't wait for you.
So Zach, let's say hypothetically that someone's watching and they do demo their own stuff and they think that their quality, maybe it is good enough, but what is the process of exporting all of this demo form to getting it to a Ben, to how it finally gets to our ears? What is used? Is it recreated, or does he just take the MIDI tracks and just, what is that process like?
So he has a little bit, I say a little bit, but he's got a lot of better plugin library than I do. He has collected far more. So usually I will send something over and we'll keep it like as like a MIDI file, like if it's like a string part that I've programmed, or some ideas that I have, he'll just take like the MIDI files and he might put his own plugin on it. There's some stuff that I've done on my end that we have just kept just the way that it was done. We had a piece of that for colors and some for mend. And then like the clean guitar, like normally I record guitars at his place, but he was so busy around the time when we were doing this that I had to do some tracking of my own at home. And
like is he able to take your vocals and make them sound like that, or is that something that you have to redo when you go to him?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So actually, the vocal tracking I normally do with him anyways. He has this really cool Steven Slate modeling microphone, and it's like got like a bunch of different microphones that are thousands upon thousands of dollars until like one, and it's like a $700 microphone, but it has thousands of dollars worth. But we actually did all the vocal tracking for Just Pretend in one session. I think I was done in like hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. We just were cranking through, and it just came out really, really quick on that end, at least.
Hell yeah. Very, very cool. I thought you were bringing me what I read in chat. My wife in chat was jumped in a second ago, and she was like, should we give him an edible? So I thought she was delivering an edible real quick. You guys are whack. Zach, what can we expect in 2024? And B, when do you get your? I'm assuming you're going for your AA for LA Film School of Music Production.
Yeah.
When do you get your certification, and what happens after that?
So I've been really fortunate where I'm interning at. I will be done within a few months of next year. But basically, I'll be interning there, and the studio owner told me, he's like, when you have a lock on it, you know what you're doing. You can run a session by yourself. He's like, any artists or bands you want to bring in here, he said, you can use the studio to record them. So I basically have an office, like once I'm done with my internship. So
they're testing you. They're testing you also simultaneously. Like, it is free studio time for a buddy, but they're also watching you to make sure that you've been paying attention to them. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm really fortunate that I got that handed to me. They've got amazing equipment there, an amazing facility. So it kind of blew my mind when he told me. I wasn't expecting it. I mean, it's a small studio. They only have a handful of engineers on deck. So I was just kind of expecting to finish my internship, and then it was going to be kind of like, oh, I guess I gotta see if there's any place hiring, because I can't record bands out of my bedroom. So. But when he was, you want to use the studio, you can. I was like, oh, yes.
Do you have are you going to utilize, I'm assuming you're going to utilize your own music, but do you have, like, for experience reasons, because I know you said you want to be behind the board, a band in mind that you're going to bring in to test everything?
Yeah, I would, there's a couple bands in the area that I can think of about reaching out to try to get them in once I've got everything rolling. There's one band in the area. Their name is Victoria Fire. Super, super nice people. Definitely highly recommend anyone to check them out. They do really awesome rock music. But yeah, aside from that, it's going to be hitting the ground and trying to bring people in. What my plan initially was, I was going to just offer mixing services. to build up clientele, and then focus on going in and producing and recording them after I had already built up some clientele. Because at least with like mixing and stuff like that, I can put myself out on Fiverr and things of that nature, and then kind of make some consistent money while I'm working on building up a more local clientele to start recording.
Speaking of Fiverr, did you see what the first guest said about Upwork?
I did not. I missed that.
I've never heard of Upwork, but apparently Upwork is like the more artistic-y for the music community, but also painting and stuff like that, better than Fiverr. I don't know. I'd never heard of it. Upwork. So
I've heard of Upwork before. I had initially jumped onto Fiverr because someone who used to do audio streams for an old band of mine, he no longer had the equipment to do it anymore. And I was looking either for an audio stream or a lyric video for Just Pretend, and he suggested that I try out Fiverr, and that's where I got the lyric video for it made. It turned out really, really well, and it did not break my bank to do it. But I'm definitely willing to check out Upwork and see what they have.
Hell yeah. Zach, before we let you go, I'm going to let you have the floor for a second. Anything we need to know about, anything you want to plug, promote, please use this opportunity to do that. And just, you're awesome, brother. Thank you for hanging out and chat on non-interview days, but also being punctual today and showing me a homemade hot sauce brew that I'm not familiar with that I definitely need to try. But dude, this is a lot of fun. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. I actually had a question for you. It's kind of a teasing question more than anything else. So when you guys did the reaction video to Mend, you really dug it. I think you gave me like a 9.2 or a 9.3 out of 10. How do you hit that 10 with you? What's the secret key to hitting a 10?
The 10s are tough, and I have different scales. If it's a bigger artist, I tend to be like more favoritism, but if it's a local artist, I guess for a 10, it's because a 9.3 or above from an artist that's not like very big will make a Spotify playlist, and I'll play you for eternity. And dope. I don't really have like a structure of what can automatically achieve that. I just look for something that makes me want to run in the next room and tell my friends, you need to hear this artist, you need to hear this band. And I'm not saying that's not you. I think it's still coming, but that also means I think your best work is in the very immediate future.
Oh, I'm not complaining, not at all. No, I was really, really happy. I was very surprised, and I was really appreciative of the kind words that you said during your reaction video.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as anything else goes, please check me out on Spotify. I'm on Apple Music. I'm on all the streaming services. Hit me up on the socials. Hang out, chat with me. Always on my phone. So if you send me a message, I'm sure I'll get back to you really quickly. Looking at doing merch for the future. Gonna start looking at ideas for merch, get some designs made up. T-shirts and things of that nature, so just be on the lookout for that. And I'm going to go ahead and plug Ben as well. Benjamin Hull, Hull. He's the one who helps me put all my mess together and get it out there for everyone to listen to. So Benjamin Hull Audio. If you guys are looking to record with anybody, he does remote work as well. So if you're a little further away, you don't want to travel down, you guys could probably work something out. So hit him up and tell him I sent you.
Hell yeah. Way to do it. Way to send us out with a good plug right there. Dude, this is a lot of fun. I appreciate you hanging. Thank you for the very, very kind words. You're awesome. I don't know if you have a beverage of choice around you, but I would like to salute you and cheers. You've definitely seen Yellowstone a bunch. That's cool. Enjoy season 2. I think they're on season 4 or 5 now, so there's a lot to go on as far as material.
I think it's season 5. They have about 8 or 9 episodes a season, I want to say.
Good luck on the degree. I'm sure you'll get all A pluses, and I hope that during the internship you're able to, push the boundaries a little bit. Do some stuff that makes them step in and be like, whoa, we didn't know you were going to do that. And then they teach you how to do it, and then and then that shows them that, hey, maybe we should hire this guy, and you just go straight into the job and you can hook up all the homies and whatnot. But Zach, you're a scholar, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you for hanging, and we look forward to more material from you. And if I ever get a chance to hang out, I'm expecting you to cook, dude. I'm just saying.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
It was a lot of fun. Zach of As I Speak!
Give me a hell yeah!
Thank you, sir. I'll put this on YouTube and I'll send it to you later tonight, so we know probably 7 or 8 a.m. Pacific this will come out.
All right, man. Thanks so much.
Cheers, dude.
Hi, what's up, stoners? Welcome to the local band Smokeout.